3-body problem. Oh my goodness. It's so good. If you have any interest in philosophy, Eastern perspectives, UAP phenomenon, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. After I finish doing everything I need to do today, I'm starting on the Dark Forest next book. So this is just a little short to remind you to read more books. Hello all, hola mi gente, ¿cómo está? It's me, Miss Ashling, and you're most welcome here. It's like you're racing to come. It's like you're racing to come to today's book talk. Yeah, today's book talk. So I've been reading a lot of Hunter S. Thompson because it's like we had the DNC recently in the US and I was feeling in like a political mood, but I wanted to like go back in time a little bit, and I thought that this would be a good author to think about and read from because Hunter S. Thompson was a political writer. So I read 4 books. Well, I read 3 and I'm stuck on 4, and we'll get to 4 in a minute. So this one, I'll start with the fiction one first because it's easier to explain. The Long Lost Novel, because he started writing it in his 20s but then like finished it when he was older. It was published in it's the one page I can't right. No, it's not. That was a lot. There we go. It was published in 1998. So like he was writing in the 60s and 70s and then on in the 80s and 90s and stuff until he passed, like, and that was controversial, so we'll talk about that. You can if you want to know more about him, you can Google him yourself, because he does have kind of like, it's like intense, his life was intense, as I think a lot of writers are, creativity like comes from something else. So it was an interesting take on what he thought journalism was like for him when he covered stories in Puerto Rico. This takes place mostly in Puerto Rico. And it's a perspective that I never heard before about Puerto Rico, so it was interesting. I don't judge the books I read on like morals. I just take what the author has to say and I decide what I think about the characters and maybe the message, and if it's a valuable lesson, not necessarily a goal in life, because I could not live like this man did. And there is also a lot of exaggeration in his writing because he was a reporter. So this book, this is called Generation of Swine. He does not have nice things to say about politicians. He says there's a lot of shame and degradation in the 80s. I was born in 1979. So when I was reading this book, it's a series of collections of his writings. And when I was reading this, I remembered like when certain things were happening, like when they were on the news. And but I was a kid, so my little kid perspective was like, I mean, grown-ups do weird stuff. I have to think about what I want to do when I'm a grown-up. This was published as a collection in 1988. And he has a lot of exaggeration. He talks a lot about drugs and alcohol and his addictions. And I feel like, I don't know if it was real or if he was exaggerating to kind of like create a character. I think it was a little bit of both. So I take his writing with a humor in my head and a grain of salt. It's meant to get you to think, not necessarily to agree with. This other book, Songs of the Dunes, it was more notes on the death of the American dream. Super gloomy, right? And like, I'm that positive chick. I'm that optimistic chick. Because I've been around the block, I know. I know that people can survive a lot more than they think they can. So it does help to look at things from a point of satire and a sense of humor, because the fact of the matter is the problems of today seem to be the same problems of yesterday. So are we doomed? I don't think so. But he does point out the types of behaviors in which, if we continue to act out, if we continue to misbehave, we could be in trouble, you know? Like, that's what you want to do. You want to stay out of trouble. Just stay out of trouble. So the last book, I'm going to hold off finishing it. Let me show you why. It's long. It's a hardcover, so it's definitely more weight to carry around. It's not the kind of book that I'm going to be dragging on the train, because it just weighs more. It just weighs more. This is the book jacket, and because it is a hardcover, it has the book jacket. I don't want to damage the book jacket, because this is not these are not from my collection, they're from Phineas's collection, so I don't want to like get them caught in the rain and stuff like that. It's just trying to be respectful, you know? So yeah, it's called Fear and Loathing in America. So what I'm gonna do, I got this far and I have all these notes, like my opinions and stuff, because this book, it starts out in 1970. No, I lied. I totally lied. It starts out in 1968. And it goes from 1968 to 1976. And I don't really know that much about those years, aside from the general ideas of what happened. Because when I was a kid in elementary school in the 1980s, we were taught history and not necessarily, and like current events. You had to know what was in the newspaper, but they didn't want to talk too much about what happened in the 60s and 70s, because a lot of them were still recovering from everything that was around the Vietnam War. So like a lot of my elders didn't talk about that, and then the older people were still recovering from stuff from World War II. So like people didn't like to talk about more recent historical stuff. So I feel like it's my responsibility to educate myself on that. And from his perspective, it is kind of humorous and exaggerated. So if there's something that I want to look up, I can. And I do. But it's also like alarmingly close to like some of the problems that are happening now. So it's like eye-opening, you know? but because like I need to take a break, me personally, I'm like, there's nothing that I can do until it comes the election day. So I'm actually gonna put the rest of this book aside until November, and then it'll be like my warm-up to that season, because I'm making it a point not to engage in conversation or really like get caught up in a lot of the commentary, because it's the same thing over and over again, and I feel like it's propaganda from this side, that side, and I don't want to hear it anymore. Because I already know what I'm gonna do. I already know what I want to do, and I do not want to continue defending what I think seems to be most obvious. I don't want to go backwards in time. I always want to progress forward. I'm a peace-loving chick. I want to sit around and read my books and talk about books. Yeah. So I think, speaking of books, because that's been an issue too, I think it's important to read the authors that we wouldn't normally read to get another perspective, right? So it's a balance. I'm now going to focus on some sci-fi stuff. I've also been really obsessed with UAPs and stuff like that since I was a kid. Because I grew up around that kind of pop culture, E.T. and all of Steven Spielberg stuff, and the alien coming out of your belly, and because I like that fiction world. Real life is hard, right? We need to be in real love, and keep all our like anger in writing, I guess. That's why I have so many journals. Oh my god. But anyway, so that's my ramble book talk for today. I hope that it helped you zone out. It maybe like made you think about picking up a book. So until the next time, I'll see you soon. Library smells so good. Hello, hola mi gente, ¿cómo está cana? It's me, Miss Ashling, and you are so welcome here at my channel. Yeah, your aura seems really good today. Really good. So, I talked about this on my live, and for those of you who don't know, I used to be an English teacher, and for a million and one reasons, I stopped teaching, but I still love books. I love books. I love everything about books. I love a notebook with this sounds. And this is my front. And like a good spiral. So the first book I want to talk about is Persepolis, the story of a childhood. And the author is, I am very bad with pronunciation because I have 3 languages in my head, so I'm going to try my best. Marjane Satrapi. I may be wrong, so do not quote me, but the author has done a lot of work, so I know that she herself is out there and there's like stuff and interviews and things. So if you want to know the correct pronunciation of her name, I'm not the source of it. So this book was published in 2003. And I had not heard of it, not even heard of it, till maybe 2022, when someone gave me the copy and said that I might like it. See, I read a lot. I love a good comic book too, and a graphic novel, and that's what this is. It's a graphic novel. I also learned after reading the book that it was made into an animated film. This is the first book in a series. I'm not sure how many books are in the series. 2, maybe 3. I don't know. If you'd like to know more, that's for you to look up. If you're interested. I myself have not gotten a hold of the other books or watched the video because I just want to catch up on all the other books I have. But I'm definitely interested when I get caught up, when I'm ready to go to the next level and look at some sequels. I would definitely check this out. So if I were teaching this book in a classroom, it's a hero's journey for sure, and basically the young woman that takes place in Iran, and I don't know anything about that culture, so this was really eye-opening for me. I mean, I know about, in a general sense, how the country is presented in the media in America and stuff like that, but like I don't really know anything about it, so I don't judge. I don't judge anything I don't know anything about. I just say, I don't know. But that's why I love reading, so that I could get an idea. And it was very interesting to me to see what life was like from a child's perspective. The author was writing about her own childhood and how her country's government changed and how that affected her growing up. And no spoilers, but yeah. The second book, I think, entails more of like her young adult years, whereas this book is like being a kid, and like it's like she's a teenager a little bit, but not like an older teenager. If I was doing a comparison in class between this graphic novel and another, I would compare it to the graphic novel Mouse, which also has sequels. I do not know if this is on a banned book list. The way the culture seems to be now, I could see that it might be, which is a little silly for me. It's also very, like, it talks about the restrictions, and it was not a restriction for, it was like restrictions on personal freedoms, like what you want to believe in, how you want to dress. Those are two things that I have always been really passionate about. I think that people have the right to express themselves as they choose, and it is not on us to judge, especially if it's not actually like physically harming anybody else. Like, so that's just me. I think like people need to control their judgment maybe versus like controlling others. That's what this book's message was, I think. I think that was the book. The theme, the underlying message of the book was, you know, you have to control yourself and your own desires and needs and wants, but controlling others is just like, how, especially a child, you know, within reason, everything within reason. It's like if you're already covering everything, you still have to cover more. I don't understand that, but I understand that for some people that's important for themselves. So people should be able to do how they want themselves. So that's what I think this was. It's just like she understood that other people wanted to be like that, but she personally did not. So it's a right to yourself and also a respecting of others, you know, and sometimes that's a little bit challenge. So that's my review of Prosecco. Just let me open up a page that's not copyrighted, right? This is the title page. P it's a softcover book, but it has the flap as if it was a hardcover book. Then you can like use it as a That's always what I would do with books when I was a kid anyway. Put the flap in as the bookmark. I have a million bookmarks. A million. I never know where they are. Until you gotta go get up and get one. This was actually an advanced reader's copy, uncorrected proof. So I don't know. And I received it at the teacher convention portion of Comic-Con. Yes, there is a teacher and librarian portion of Comic-Con in New York Comic Con, and I try my best to attend every year, but I haven't attended in a while. I'm hoping this year. Cross your fingers that I can go, because I really want to go. I might end up actually having to go for work, which would be different, so we'll see. But this was a national marketing and publicity campaign, and the way this was, I received this in 2018. The copyright on this book said 2019, 2019. Did I get this in 2019? You know what? I think it was 2019. It was 2019 because then the year after there was no in-person Comic-Con. There wasn't. There wouldn't have been in 2020. So anyway. It's called Bury the Lead by Gabby Dunn, from the New York Times bestselling author. So I'm sure if you wanted to look the author up, you could. Bury the Lead, and it was illustrated by Claire Rowe with Miguel Muerto. And the way the U.S.'s laws are right now, this is 18 plus. Because there's a lot of mature scenes in the book. So like, I would not in a classroom recommend this. I would not keep it in my classroom library because I could get in trouble. So I would as a teacher, I couldn't recommend this book to any of my students because of the way the laws are right now. But there are some places where you could, but it's like your comfort level, and I am just I get nervous with things like that. Like, I don't want, that's why I love teaching. Like, there was like issues that I'm like, I can't solve that problem, and I don't want to sign my name to this. So yeah, but the book itself, this is not like my normal go-to kind of genre. It's action adventure, murder mystery, crime. There's a hero's journey, but more like her career in terms of like what the main character wanted to do to boost their career as a journalist. It's like, her journey, but it's not like a hero. It's like a capitalist hero's journey, I guess. It's like doing what you need to do for your job. And she's a reporter, so she gets into some interesting situations, and her personal life is depicted on the pages, and some of it is quite adult. It's graphic. It's a comic book. It's a graphic novel. It's a little graphic. By American standards, for sure. I didn't not like the book for those reasons. It wasn't my cup of tea. Yeah, I'm not really, I live in New York City. I don't want to read about crime in my arena. We don't have nearly as much as we used to. The news media definitely over-exaggerates, for sure. Crime happens. Crime has always happened here, but it's significantly less than when I was growing up, and I'm in my 40s. So, but yeah. So, would I recommend this book to somebody who is into crime, mystery, whodunit, action adventure? Sure. Yeah. If that's into your thing, you might. If that's like your thing, you might like it. And this has been around for a while. I know that it can end up getting published, but I never saw, like, I didn't read the corrected proof because I don't have it. So, yeah, that's how I felt about this. I have a bunch of books that I want to read, and it's been so hot in the city that it's just been a struggle to concentrate, because like when you come home from work at the end of the day, because it's been so hot, like the last thing I want to do is anything. So I have not been able to do my pleasure reading because I've just been so exhausted from daily, there's a vacuum cleaner upstairs. daily environmental challenges, but I'm not gonna let that stand in my way, and neither should you. We all are having a lot of environmental challenges, and I think that we all have to be patient. The best thing about the Lilo and Stitch movie is like Stitch learning about balance, like keeping the bad parts of him down so he could be good, and learning to be part of a family. Yeah. And I'm learning to be a New Yorker in a very, very tight space and still want to be an ASMR. So, I mean, I'm working on my doctorate. Doctoral notes. But it's also not a great time for being in a university either. So I'm doing all my research independently at the moment. And I need to focus on my reading and my writing. So I really appreciate you coming on this journey with me. Okay. So I think I'm gonna end it here. Just because I can't really control the neighbors cleaning. They gotta do what they gotta do too. So I bid you adieu. And know that I've got my nose out. I got my nose out for what you need. My nose is on the case. Thanks for watching, and remember, you are loved. You are loved and appreciated. Gen X lady go, what? A QR code. It's like the circles go on the top or on the bottom. I guess they go on the top, right? That's what, not square, not circle, square. I think you did it right. It's a QR code to my channel. I want to use this for like things that are relaxing for the moment that I need if I have to go on the road somewhere. Bridge to Therapy. Have you ever read that book? I'm switching out some books that are in the library, in this part of the apartment, with my library that I haven't read in the other room in the bedroom, because what use is it to me? Oh, there. chair is here, so I need to move out some stuff. But I wanted to recommend some books from a pile that I had on Band's books. So if you've never read these books, some of them are movies or TV shows at this point, but yeah, Bridge to Terabithia was a Band's book. I can't believe it. Bridge to Terabithia, great kids book. This is another great kids book, The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. Absolute true. Absolutely true. So I like that book. Bands again, like what for what? What's this? Oh, To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird. Another really great classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. So these are going into the cabinet. It's an open cabinet. You can still see inside, because why would you ever hide books? Again, humble opinion. So I could put in my little office books that I haven't read that I want to. The Book Thief. The Book Thief. Got another great book. Oh yeah, and these are some like non-fiction things there. Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale, more of older students. Juniors and seniors, college, you know. What else is here? Oh, this has to stay out here. This is George Orwell, 1984, but it's in Spanish. And I need to practice. Just because if you don't practice, you forget how to do things. So, it's not for a job. It's not for anything. It's for me, you know. The Alchemist. The Alchemist. I have a love-hate relationship with this book because my own spirituality is so confused with East and West, and this is a deep philosophy. So I think this is something to read and discuss. But I'm gonna put it in this classical pile here, with the classics. If a book makes me angry, I'm gonna want to keep a copy around. Not angry, like I don't really know how I feel about this, especially when it comes to like religious stuff, because we live in a modern age. I also have my 3 body problem set here. I'm gonna put those in a place of honor in the classics shelf as well. And now here it is, my empty bin. And I'm gonna put my, okay, let me see if I can, Sensiku. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna put it here in post. It means, it's a Japanese word, and it means a book pile that you still need to read. Like a nice pile of books that you want to read. Yep. What else? This is a thing. I got it a long time ago. It's like you can, it's a pillow thing, and you can put a book on it to read on your lap. It's okay. I've accidentally set it on fire a couple of times. Sense. A bag of foam that I've been collecting from different mesmerize. Go to sleep. Feel loved. It's like a scary face. Be loved. You deserve love. You. I've glued together a bunch of pieces that I think make some nice sounds. So I think I will continue doing that. And hopefully this tagging and phony bits help you go to sleep. Probably have to prime it. There's a lot of air in here. I want to see what happens if I turn it the other way. Does that make it a little... Is that a little better? I think I might like it more that way. Let's very well. How about down here? Or maybe... I want to put it someplace where I can see, but you guys can still... Yeah, let me know if that's good lighting at this point of the video, because I might just leave my little pina where I can see it. Not too spooky, maybe it's like a campfire kind of vibe. What do you think? Let me know. Okay. It just sounds so funny. Oh wow, it's actually working. Yay, I primed it properly. I'm so excited. I'm proud of myself. Okay. It works pretty quick. Okay. Let me see if I can find the other sizes. Japanese American World War II story. If you don't know my obsession with Star Trek, get on my boat, live long and prosper. Big fan of the man. I got his autograph right over there, like in the little station back there. And you guys know, like, Stitch is my favorite character, and the reason is, for me, a Pacific Islander, I did not have a character growing up to look up to. I was 20 when Stitch came out. So I held on to that, and just Lilo is me. I was so happy to finally see myself portrayed on a movie screen. And then, like, as an adult, as a teacher, and then hearing, like, oh, well, you know, we had Black History Month, then we had Women's History Month, then we had this History Month, that History Month. Well, May is Asian American Pacific Islander Month. And I'm like, oh, they finally came up with that. I'm not going to be cynical. I'm just happy we have it. I'm happy we have it. So in honor of that, I'm not going to, it's illustrated by Michelle Lee. I'm obviously not going to read this on my channel because I'm going to encourage you to go out and buy this yourself or read in the library or borrow it from a friend. Not sponsored. I just feel so strongly about this. I'm of Filipino ancestry. That's the Pacific Islander. And the relationship with the United States is very strange because we were colonized by Spain, and then we were colonized by America, and then we were set free, but then somehow I'm here, right? So I don't know what my ancestors were doing. I just know I'm here. And I've always gotten the, what are you? But what are you? Where are you from? Well, I don't look like either culture, do I? I'm kind of a combination of everything. But that's America. That is America. And honestly, that's what this is about. Because here in the States, we don't look like each other necessarily. We look like our ancestors, and our ancestors all came from different places. And so during World War II, because a group of people did something negative to one group of people, people that looked like them within the same country were not treated nicely, put in internment camps. So if you didn't know about that, this is just an awareness. No judgment. Everything was in the past. George himself very, very wonderfully tells us in this book the joy of living even when you are struggling, when you are being discriminated against and jailed, essentially. Curfewed, put on a curfew. It's not easy, but you still must find the will to live and the will to live life well, to live life with joy. Joy, joy, joy. That's all I gotta say on that for now. That's all I gotta say on that for now. Let's see what else. These are some Marvel art books. Got some book off. This is like a recycled books. You can buy used book there. You can buy new book there. You can give your old book. So book can live on. This one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And this one is Civil War Captain America. So I like these texturally.
And of course, for an adult, this is easy read. When I was still in the classroom, I would always pick up books, used books, and bring them to my classroom. I left a lot of books that I purchased in the classroom that I last was in. They're not for me, they're for the kids anyway. But I still pick up books. So when I read these, finish these, I have younger nieces and nephews that will inherit these books from me. But it's strange how old habits take a bit of a time to die, you know? I still keep picking up books. That's why I have such a large reading pile. Anyway, what else about books? I have books over there that are fairy tales and other stories that are in the common domain because they were published so long ago. So I am going to be reading from those books as part of my channel. So if you have gotten this far and you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor and subscribe so I can continue to make these videos. I'm playing around with the level of lighting because somebody had mentioned that, so please go ahead and comment down below and I will adjust as best fits your needs. I'm trying to think. I really thought I would talk a lot more about books than I am. I a little distracted because I want to sit and read some books? Yes, indeed I am. Next up on my pile, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. It's another one of those, oh, we're gonna ban the book because we don't like how such and such is being talked about. So I'll be reading this. And in the fancy fun world, I am up to book 8 in Outlander on my Kindle. I am planning on disconnecting Prime a little bit, take a break from Bezos. That's another, like, oh my god, help me with my sanity. Like, taking a break from some of your subscription services can be helpful too, because it just, you feel like you're subscribing to something, so then you should be watching it, and then you're watching it and you're like, wait, but I haven't left the house yet, because my Netflix subscription is so much, you know, like my Netflix subscription I think is like $16.99, and isn't minimum wage in the country like 7 something? I think in New York it's 15, but so let's just say that it means that I would have to work at least 1 hour to have my Netflix subscription. Is it worth it? When you think about it in terms like that, you know, you're not sure. I always think like that. Maybe that's a Gen X thing. You know, you can always cancel or put things on pause. You can always go back to it. And I think that just like the effort of having to do that, it's not automatic. So here's some latchkey logic for you. Latchkey logic. Don't pay for what you're not using. Don't pay for what you're not using. If you're not using it, turn it off. Turn it off. When you're ready to watch something, you turn it back on. When your eyes start hurting as you get older, do some of your reading on a Kindle. Or what should we call it? What's the generic audiobook? Yeah, Bezos really did take over the world, right? Everything is Amazon and Prime and Kindle, and it's fine. That's fine. But there are alternatives. And so I just kind of want to give other people a chance to participate in my mindless entertainment, right? Did I just clunk myself in the nose with this? Yeah, of course. My sniffer. Anyway, so that's on my constant to-do list. It's all reading. It's all reading. It's all reading. Oh, there's a app. I believe it's called Flint or something. I'm sure if you guys are into the self-help sphere, you're aware of it. It's like a little bird, finch, yeah, little bird, and you can like do tasks with the character that propel you forward in your like day-to-day, how you're going to self-care for yourself. And I've been using it for about a week, and it does help me to remember things like drinking water and how many meals are you eating, and did you step outside today? That's actually a really hard one for me. I either will spend days and days and days outside doing stuff outside, and then I will not exit the apartment. It's a weird dichotomy. So I'm trying to push myself to go outside at least once a day, and now that the weather is nice, to keep open the windows with a screen, because we get bugs. We get bugs. Teeny tiny little bugs. Teeny tiny, but they don't make noise. I hear in the middle of the country those the very noisy little bugs are coming out. Nice friendly little noisy bugs. Yeah. I'm just rambling. Do you like a rambler, or do you prefer a more on-topic discussion? I ramble. I do have notebooks of sage wisdom from your Gen X friend over here, Latchkey Kid for life, that I'll be reading from them in another episode. So if this is your kind of jam, listening to somebody ramble about stuff and not advice, because it's just, I just know what works for me and what I know worked for other people like me. And if you can survive being a latchkey kid in New York City during the time when the city was told to go to hell, I kind of feel like my advice might be something helpful to people out there. So that's kind of why I'm saying it. And another reason why I think my advice, take it or leave it, but why I feel qualified to give advice at all is because I'm alive. And if you knew, you'd be shocked. If you knew, you'd be shocked. So if I'm telling you it's going to be okay, and that it's okay to be proud of who you are, whether you're the same as somebody else, different, or kind of a half and half situation, if you find that helpful, I'll keep rambling about it, because I ramble about it regardless whether people are listening or not. But I really do hope it's helpful. So ramble. I'm gonna make some nice quiet sounds. Annoying truck in the background, but it's an ice cream truck. So we're gonna be full of gratitude for the fact that ice cream trucks exist. Sprinkle some good thoughts. Ice cream. Yeah, if you're lactose intolerant, that like bites. But just think of your comment down below, what treats do you like in the summer? I like a good lemonade. Lemon. I love lemonade. Not too much sugar. Not too much sugar at all. If it's too sweet, I can't taste the bitterness, and that's the part I like. I like the bitter things in life. They make me happy. Grapefruit. Let me tell you, when you're on medications, prescriptions and stuff, so many of them are like, you can't eat grapefruit. But since I'm past the point where I need the prescriptions I've been on, and I can eat a grapefruit, it's the best tasting fruit in my life. There are people who say, oh, well, when the doctor says this, like, do you really care? And it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to, right? If the doctor says you shouldn't eat this while you're taking that, then maybe you shouldn't. So now that I'm not taking it, OMG, am I happy to have grapefruit back in my life. Grapefruit. Do you say grapefruit or grapefruit? Which one do you say, grapefruit or grapefruit? Either way, they smell so good. They taste so good. They are bitter, like me. What other bitter stuff? Coffee. You guys, I'm obsessed with coffee. I love how coffees smell. I love how coffees smell. But I don't like putting sugar in coffee. I can, if I accidentally take, you order a bunch of coffees for everybody, you grab the wrong one, you take a sip of the sugar, and it's like, oh gosh. No. I like my coffee bitter like me. I was just distracted by something across my screen. A job recruiter. Y'all are getting desperate. If you're asking old curmudgeon would-be professors to come and work for you at, what's that now? Oh, it's a bunch of different, companies. Walmart and stuff. No. Curmudgeon old professor type is not going to work for Walmart. I think I have walked into a Walmart 3 times in my life, and 2 of those was when I was visiting friends outside of the New York metro area. That store scares me, I'm not gonna lie. The greeting weirds me out, because back in the day in New York, you would have packages like you're shopping from the other stores, and you would have to give the bag to the person, security guard that's standing at the front of the store, and there's all these cubby holes, and your bags go in the cubby holes, and you get a ticket. It's like checking a bag or checking a coat. And this is how you did your shopping. If you're OG NYC and you know what I'm talking about, comment down below. That's such a strange thing. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that now. Do I remember why I started that topic? No. Shopping, bags, checking your bags. It's a great way not to lose something. Now I'm just like, I wish there was a place I could check my bags when I had some other stuff to do. Like, coming home from work and you have all these bags and you have to go to the grocery store and you have to, carry everything. And you, because of, not pickpocketing, shoplifting. They used to do that. Do they do that in other places? Nowadays people don't actually shop, I guess, in the stores. They're shop online. Walmart, that's why I brought it up. Yeah. Why are you recruiting old curmudgeon professors to work at Walmart? Internet, you strange beast. Alright, guys. Be aware of who you are and shout out who you are. And I will see you in the next one. Hello all. Hola mi gente. ¿Cómo está cana? I'm Miss Ashley and are all very, 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 very welcome here at my channel. So today, in honor of it being Monday, and I need a little bit of motivation, I don't know about you. And when I was in and some spots, and then it gives you a little bit of like blurb on what the spot is, and it's so fun to look at something now in an ever constantly changing New York City where I'm like, oh, that's there now. Well, I remember when I was in my 20s, that was a such and such, and then when I was a kid, it was such and such, and before I was even born, it was such and such something else. It really puts things into perspective. So, yeah, I've got this in my backpack as well. So when I finally get outside tomorrow, I'm all packed for that situation. I haven't decided where yet. And that sometimes, if I don't know where I want to go for the day or for where my focus is, I'll open that book to a random page or roll a dice or something. Oh, I have more stuff I have stuff in here that I don't even know what it is. What's in here? I totally forgot. I was looking for this and now I know that's why. So in this little pouch. I think this is a coach. I definitely would have gotten it as a hand-me-down or a gift. It's my Doctor Who. Oh, look at that. I found this to-do list and I was learning how to say, and I'm probably still gonna butcher this, kintsugi, to repair a break with gold. It's a Japanese word, and it's such a cool concept. Like, if you break, I don't have anything certain. Oh wait, I have like a I have an empty bottle. So it would be like if there was a crack in the bottle, instead of gluing it, to fill it with gold to seal the hole. Very cool, very cool, very cool. And then my Dr. sticky notes. So we got the doctor right there. To do can erase your worries. And you can sharpen your skills. It has two sizes. A small one and a big one. Small one and a big one. And it's green. Yeah. So, how's that my coffee? Dr. Luca. It's quite, it's got a chip. And it used to be that when it was warm, the TARDIS would appear or disappear, depending on if it was hot or cold. Here it's in space. Here it's on Earth. Venus got me that like forever ago. And I needed a pencil sharpener, a fresh one. My other one, I don't know where it is, but I used it on a different set of pencils, drafting pencils. So I kind of wanted a separate one for colored pencils. Just a different wood textures, I guess. I don't know. Is it a different tapping because it's like missing a fingernail? But yeah, they're getting a little dull, and they need to be sharpened. Because I gotta color my stitch book. I gotta. Let's see, I did some new pages. Agent Bleakley. She's like the head of the Galactic Federation. What's her name? I think we get her name later in the book. We don't really meet her till the end, but she's like the lady who was in charge of the fleet. And yeah, I'm in that alien mode. So I've been reading. Finished. This is some books that I finished. This is my book bag. Because it's just the perfect size for carrying books. But I don't want to carry my backpack. I'm a little stuffy today. So, what's in my book bag? First, this is silly, and no offense to anybody from a religious perspective. I kept hearing about this story, and so I printed it out so I could read it. I can't read it on the screen. I literally, it bothers my eyes. I haven't developed that skill set. So, but also, so I could have it for future reference, I printed out the Book of Enoch. And it's like I didn't learn about it when I was a kid, when I was in Catholic school, in elementary school, because it's not part of the Christian Bible. But apparently it's stories that I knew about angels and stuff. So I'm like, now I understand why people are connecting it to ufology. Speaking of, I read this book. It's the author. Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, Imminent by Luisa Lozano. And I'm fascinated with all things science. You guys may or may not know this. I am a Trekkie. You don't see the Trekkie stuff in this shot, but there's, you can see a lot of videos on my channel. And I've always been interested in like UFOs and ufology because I have like this sciencey kind of need to know. And I just found it fascinating because it covered a lot of different topics that I had learned about over the years. There was a show when I was a kid called Unsolved Mysteries. I think they rebooted it on Netflix not too long ago. And it was just all about like paranormal and supernatural and true crime and stuff like that. So it's always been fascinating for me. So this book was interesting because like everybody, all the YouTubers that talk about ufology, UAP, NHI, stuff like that, they were promoting it. And I'm a sucker for a book recommendation. I really am. Because I told myself I have this huge pile of books that I've been meaning to read, and I'm like, I'm not buying a new book. But I had to buy this. And I was not disappointed. It's such a good read. It makes you think about things. And it makes you wonder. Opened my mind a little bit to some other possibilities that I hadn't really thought about before. And I like that it also takes the perspective of like, but we need to separate our religious curiosities from our science curiosities, and like growing up in a faith that I do not practice, and also growing up in a different faith that I sort of practice. Multiculturalism is what it is. Yeah, so I think I'm just naturally more open-minded to stuff, and willing to like separate my knowledge into categories and then to connect the dots, not in a red yarn kind of way, but in a, oh, okay, this is my time to think about that. It's interesting. Which of course then I was like, all right, let me look at my pile of books that I'm behind on. I need to do the science ones. So the last time I was at Comic-Con in 2019, before everything went crazy. If you're new to my channel, I was a teacher. I have been retired from there for 1 year because I had to retire because of I have lupus and I physically just cannot take on the challenges of teaching anymore. So it's on English. That explains that. But back to the topic at hand. So
foundational for so much science fiction that came afterwards, like literally foundational. And this book doesn't follow one specific character, nor does it take place in one specific time period. It's a potential future for humanity, but it's like the story takes place in this period of time, and then you read some more and it's like in a different period of time. So there's like 4 different periods of time in the book. And the lesson, I like to figure out what the lesson of the book is, from my perspective at least. That's also known as the theme, the message, the lesson learned. What was the theme of the book? It's a little more than the main idea. The main idea is science fiction, a future potential possibility of what humanity would be like in other planets in the future when humans have expanded. Okay, that's the main idea. But the lesson, and the lesson doesn't have to give spoilers, you know, because this lesson is something that should make you want to read the book, okay? And the plane is going. And my leg is itchy. Be wary of technology making your life too easy. The powers that be could use it against you. I know it sounds apocalyptic, but it's fiction, and it's potential possibility. And I think we know, like we don't want violence. I don't want violence. I believe people should read about things and talk about things. Whether you're somebody who has a lot or you have barely anything, everybody has a right to an education. Everybody has a right to a voice. And I think that everybody should have access to technology, because especially in this day and age, like, you need it to survive. But the people should keep it in check, you know, for humanity's sake. I think that we should still be in charge. Humans should still be in charge of technology. And that's what I feel like the lesson of this is for me, in my humble opinion. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna put that over there. Oh, I didn't mention this is published. Like, this came out last month. It came out in August. Yeah, August 2024. I have a shelf attached to that desk. Excuse me. So this book came out in 1989. So I did not read this book as a kid. I finished it not too long ago. And it would have been too hard for me, number one. And there is also adult situations. So, like, again, it would be one of those books that, unless the student was a senior or junior and was mature, I wouldn't recommend to anybody younger than that, because it is adult, because it's written for adults, and it's written in the future, another potential future, and like, how will humanity live and act the same way in the future? Like, yeah. How will things like attraction work, and how will people continue to multiply in space and in other planets? What is that going to be like? So yeah, that's something that was covered
controversial bit here. Parenting. There's like a very interesting chapter on what parenting might be like in the future if some weird scientific thing happens. It has to do with time. And time travel stuff always confuses me anyway. That was my favorite chapter in the book. Then there's a chapter about AI and human, a hybrid, but they call it a cybrid. Very interesting considering like the technology of modern times. And then there was like a military perspective. I don't want to like spoil this. I'm just looking over my notes. Okay, like I thought about, how everything is a figment of somebody's imagination, unless you have physical proof, kind of thing. And but also the notion that we know nothing and we're always wrong about stuff. When I was a kid, it was like the dinosaurs went extinct, and like now, no, the dinosaurs are birds. They evolved into birds. And I remember when they finally, because I remember reading the theories when I was a teenager, and then finding out that it was proved. I was like, I was so excited. So do I think that we have friends out there, that we have maybe potential issues out there? Is there something out there? I don't know. But I like to hear about other people's perspectives, whether it's realistic or unrealistic. I don't know. And so in doing that, I finally figured out a use for my Choose Happy notebook and the pens, my color pens. So I just gonna share to those
Hey, ¿cómo está, cara? It's me, Miss Ashling, and you. Are most welcome here at my channel. So today, I've got some work to type up. I've got quite a bit. I did like a chart, and I typed up what I had already had. And then I went back over my notes and started handwriting stuff right into the charts that I had already printed out. Like, I am so analog that way. I wish that I could get rid of my dependency on like paper because I do think about the environment and stuff like that, but I realized that I might be among a very few people that actually still handwrite stuff, because I am so surprised that a lot of the stores around where I live, which is a residential community in the Bronx, that they don't, the CVS and the drugstores and all this, that they don't have like these giant school supply centers, like when even before 2020. So like, I'm just trying to clean up my desk while I talk to you. Yeah. So anyway, I do need to get some typing in. My backup battery from my MOBA. I need to get some typing in because this red pen is constantly leaking. Oh, I forgot I put that bin over there. Okay. We did some furniture. I think this is a bit more comfortable seat for me, which is good because I have so much typing to do. So whether you're watching this to just zone out to my typing sounds, or whether you need some motivation, some like study buddy kind of thing, whatever it is. I'm not gonna chit chat too much more after this because I need to focus. I want to see where all the various thesauri are. It's like, I think there's 8 topics in this file, this one document, and then the other document has like 10 pages of collected notes. It's all pot, you guys. It's all pot. And I can't move forward until I get to a point where I feel like the point's been made. You know, that's what you do when you write. When you're a writer, you're just constantly writing, and editors get annoyed. And it's fine. You need to submit what we need to submit. So it's crunchy. It's like smacked against constantly being. Today is a great day to learn something new. But anyway. So, get yourself together. Don't mind this crustiness over there. Yeah, no, I'm conscious of it, but whatever. Let's put a sticker on it. There you go. So you got a picture of the TARDIS. Okay. It's the TARDIS. So we're getting into the TARDIS, and we are focusing.
Hello. Hola, mi gente. ¿Cómo está, Cana? Today, I want to read to you guys from this book, Hans Christian Andersen Tales. This book is super textury. And there's some print on the back that's raised. Really nice pictures on the cover, inside cover. The tops, so pretty, so pretty. So yeah, so these are old tales. So I do not believe I'm violating any copyright issues reading you guys this. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Comment. Been loving the comments. Thanks you so much. I'm Miss Ashling. I keep forgetting to introduce myself. So hi, if you're new here. Oh, there's a poll asking you guys if you see ads. I do not want you to see ads mid-roll. I know that they're probably gonna place an ad, excuse me, at the end of a video, but I don't understand why they do it in mid-roll. I mean, I understand from their point of view, but it's not good for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. And it's not good for me because I don't benefit. I do not benefit. So why should you guys get added to this? Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Miss Ashling is like, no, you're not doing that to my viewers. What? So please let me know. I think I shut everything off, but I'm still learning a lot of techie stuff. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm gonna get a comb because it's real thin and I want to trace some stuff for you, and then I'll pick the story to read it to you. So I'm gonna use this comb to get some of those cobwebs out the ears. I know sometimes we spend all day hearing nonsense. It's like ear bleach. Do you guys know I bleach on Reddit? I love it. So here we go. We got some ear bleach, right? Okay. So hands. Hans Christian Andersen. Hans Christian Andersen. Tales. Hans Christian Andersen tales. There's a lot of quotes embedded into this lovely soft cover. Wow. Oh, ooh. Life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale. Hans Christian Andersen Tales in the corner, they have this symbol. I'm not sure what this might represent. for this author. I don't know, but I imagine it must be something because this little symbol is also on the top. Maybe we'll find a solution. Or maybe not. Sometimes the pretty thing is there just for it to be pretty. Hans Christian Andersen Tales. Hans Christian Andersen Tales. From World Cloud Classics. That's the publisher of this book. Oh yeah, look at this. This is from one of the stories. Like melted, melted, melted. Fire, fire, blue, blue. It's probably backwards for you guys. Is it? Before I decided to hang out here in the studio and do some reading and writing of my own, I was an English teacher, so I do have that strange ability to read upside down. So let's get to it. As I drop the comb. So much for a pointer. Okay. These are the content. All the little stories. So many stories. So many stories. There is a publisher's note, and they let us know that there's a year that appears next to the title of the story to let us know the original day of the story's publication in any language. Most were published by Andersen in Danish during his lifetime as serials in magazines or as collected works. So back in the day, you know, you couldn't create a YouTube channel. YouTube didn't exist for this guy, right? So you actually had to pick up something printed. Yeah, that's my bias. That's my bias. I am all for digital. I'm there with you. But let's not forget the OG materials, okay? The tallow candle from the 1820s. All right, so let's read this story. Okay. I put on my lavalier mic. You can hear. So I can sit by the light and see a little bit better. No, that kind of looks creepy though. Alright, I'm gonna stop being so precious. Okay. So here we go. This story was written in the 1820s. It's called The Tallow Candle. There was sputtering and sizzling as the flames played under the pan. This was the tallow candle's cradle, and out of the warm cradle slipped the candle, perfectly shaped, all of a piece shiny white and slender. It was formed in a way that made everyone who laid eyes on it believe that it must promise a bright and glorious future. Indeed, it was destined to keep that promise and fulfill their expectations. The sheep, a pretty little sheep, was the candle's mother, and the melting pot was its father. From its mother, it had inherited its dazzling white body and an intuitive understanding of life, but from its father, it had acquired the desire for the blazing fire that would eventually reach its very core and shine the light for it in life. That is how it had been made and how it cast itself with the best and brightest of hopes into life. Here it met an amazing number of fellow creatures with whom it had dealings, since it desired to get to know life and thus perhaps find the most suitable niche for itself. But the candle saw the world in too benevolent a light, while the world only cared about itself and not about the tallow candle at all. The world was unable to understand the true nature of the candle, so it tried to use it to its own advantage and handled the candle improperly. Black fingers made bigger and bigger spots on the white color of innocence, which little by little totally disappeared, to be covered with the filth of an outside world that had been far too harsh and come much closer than the candle could bear, since it had been unable to distinguish between the pure and the impure, but deep inside it was still innocent and unspoiled. That's some pretty deep thoughts for a candle. That is when the false friends realized that they could not reach its innermost part. In anger, they threw away the candle, considering it a useless thing. The outer black layer kept away everybody good. They were afraid of becoming contaminated by the black color, of getting spots on themselves, so they kept a distance. Have you ever felt that way? Sounds familiar, right? Let's see what happens with the candle now. Now the poor tallow candle was lonely, abandoned, and at its wit's end. It felt cast off by what was good and discovered that it had been nothing but a blind tool used to advance what was bad. It felt so terribly sad because it had lived its life without purpose. Perhaps it had even tarnished some good things by its presence. It could not grasp why and to what end it had been created, why it was put on this earth where it might destroy itself and even others. Innocent little candle doesn't know why it's here, doesn't want to hurt anyone else. Does that sound familiar to you? Can you relate to that? More and more, increasingly, deeply, it pondered the situation. But the more it thought, the greater its despondency, since it could not find anything good at all, no real meaning for itself, or see the purpose it had been given at birth. It was as if the black layer had also thrown a veil over its eyes. That was when it met a small flame, a tinderbox. A tinderbox. The tinderbox knew the light better than the tallow candle knew itself, for the tinderbox saw everything so clearly, right through the outer layer, and inside it found so much good. Therefore it went closer, and bright hopes emerged in the candle. It lit up, and its heart melted. The flame shone brightly like a wedding torch of joy. Everything became bright and clear, and it showed the way for those in its company, its true friends. And helped by the light, they could now successfully seek truth. Do you have a tinderbox? Who's your one person? Maybe it's a pet. Maybe it's a inspirational person somewhere. But the tinderbox knows you. Sometimes let the tinderbox help you out. go ahead and read that again because it was just so cool. That was when it met a small flame, a tinderbox. The tinderbox knew the light better than the tallow candle knew itself, for the tinderbox saw everything so clearly, right through the outer layer, and inside it found so much good. Therefore it went closer, and bright hopes emerged in the candle. It lit up, and its heart melted. I put my finger there so I don't lose my place this time. The flame shone brightly like a wedding torch of joy. Everything became bright and clear, and it showed the way for those in its company, its true friends, and helped by the light they could now successfully see true. It's funny, like, the idea of a wedding torch that's like the brightest light, because if you think about when this was written in 1820s, like, that's how people connected. You had to get married kind of thing, and that's like when your life's supposed to start. It can be, but it's not the be all end all. So it's just funny because you read something like that today and it's like, well, what's that's supposed to mean? But don't forget, when you read something, remember the time it was written. The body too was strong enough to nurture and support the burning flame. Like the beginnings of new life, one round and plump drop after the other rolled down the candle, covering the filth of the past. As the wax melts off of you in your life, you're shedding the stuff you don't need to hold on to. This was not only the bodily but also the spiritual gain of the marriage. The tallow candle had found its true place in life and proved that a true light shone for a long time, spreading joy for itself and its fellow creatures. I love the symbol of the candle being married to the tinderbox. Again, we're talking about that time period, so like a joining, a collaboration. That's what it is. The tinderbox and the candle be like way up in that collab. Oh yeah. Oh, and the next story is called The Tinderbox. I have not read these in a long time, so these are a surprise to me as they are to you. I know some of the Hans Christian Andersen tales, but not all of them, so enjoy the ride. Okay. This one was published in 1835. The Tinderbox. There came a soldier marching down the high road. 1, 2, 1, 2. He had his knapsack on his back and his sword at his side as he came home from wars. On the road he met a witch, an ugly old witch, a witch whose lower lip dangled right down on her chest. That's real lip. Good evening, soldier, she said. What a fine sword you've got there, and what a big knapsack. Aren't you every inch a soldier? And now you shall have money, as much as you please. That's very kind, you old witch, said the soldier. Sus? I'm a little sus, let's see. See that big tree? The witch pointed to one nearby them. It's hollow to the roots. Climb to the top of the trunk and you'll find a hole through which you can let yourself down deep under the tree. I'll tie a rope around your middle so that when you call me, I can pull you up again. What would I do deep down under that tree? The soldier wanted to know. Fetch money, the witch said. Listen, when you touch bottom, you'll find yourself in a great hall. It's very bright there because more than 100 lamps are burning. By their light, you will see 3 doors. Each door has a key in it, so you can open them all. If you walk into the first room, you'll see a large chest in the middle of the floor. On it sits a dog, and his eyes are as big as saucers. But don't worry about that. I'll give you my blue checkered apron to spread out on the floor. Snatch up that dog and set him on my apron. Then you can open the chest and take out as many pieces of money as you please. They are all copper. But if silver suits you better, then go into the next room. There sits a dog and his eyes are as big as mill wheels. But don't you care about that. Set the dog on my apron while you line your pockets with silver. Maybe you'd rather have gold. You can, you know. You can have all the gold you want. Nope, I read that wrong. You can have all the gold you can carry if you go into the third room. The only hitch is that there on the money chest sits a dog, and each of his eyes is as big as the round tower of Copenhagen. That's the sort of dog he is. But never mind you how fierce he looks. Just set him on my apron, and he'll do you no harm as you help yourself from the chest to all the gold you want. For visualization purposes, and because this was written in a time when we're like, well, what the heck is that? What's a saucer? Do you guys know what a saucer is? That's not a common everyday word. It's if you have a teacup and underneath the teacup, that little plate is called the saucer. So think about that as a size. And then the next size was a mill wheel. A mill, if you've never seen a mill, that's how like they used to grind flour in the day. So then how can you possibly know what the image is, right? This is like one of my pet peeves from teaching. It's like, no, we need to explain more to the kids, because certain things are not in our everyday language anymore when we read from old books, right? So a mill wheel would probably be the size of like somebody's front door, but then make it a wheel, and it could be even bigger because it's like moving the water. Or if it's a windmill, which, because it's in Danish, the Netherlands, Denmark, which is a different country. See how hard it is? It's hard to remember where everything is. Yes, Denmark. It's in Europe. It's on the top, but not on that top. It's like right there. It's still on the, quote, continental part. Are Scandinavian countries considered European? I mean, sort of, right? But not all of them are in the EU. So we're gonna look that up too. Oh, and then the last but not least, the big thing that said the round tower of Copenhagen. So that's a tower for a city. Like that's the city's tower. So that thing is huge. That's like when I think of the Statue of Liberty, she's holding up some like big old clock. So that dog is really big. really big. And that's why I guess he's guarding the gold. Anyway. That suits me, said the soldier. But what do you get out of all this, you old witch? I suppose that you want your share. That's a good point. No, indeed, said the witch. I don't want a penny of it. All I ask is for you to fetch me an old tinderbox that my grandmother forgot the last time she was down there. Good, said the soldier. Tie the rope around me. Here it is, said the witch, and here's my blue checkered apron. The soldier climbed up to the hole in the tree and let himself slide through it, feet foremost down into the great hall where the hundreds of lamps were burning, just as the witch had said. Now he threw open the first door he came to. Ugh! There sat a dog glaring at him with eyes as big as saucers. You're a nice fellow, the soldier said, as he shifted him to the witch's apron and took all the coppers that his pockets would hold. He shut up the chest, set the dog back on it, and made for the second room. Alas and alack, There sat the dog with eyes as big as mill wheels.
Like, the dog has to be proportionately that big, though. Like,
Don't you look at me like that. The soldier set him on the witch's aprons. You're apt to strain your eyesight. When he saw the chest brimful of silver, he threw away all his coppers and filled both his pockets and knapsack with silver alone. Then he went into the third room. Oh, what a horrible sight to see! The dog in there really did have eyes as big as the round tower, and when he rolled them, they spun like wheels.
that sounds kind of scary, actually.
Good evening, the soldier said, and saluted. For such a dog he had never seen before. But on second glance he thought to himself, this won't do. So he lifted the dog down to the floor and threw open the chest. What a sight! Here was gold and to spare. He could buy out all Copenhagen with it. He could buy all the cake woman's sugar pigs and all the tin soldiers' whips and rocking horses there are in the world. Yes, there was really money. Praise him. In short order, the soldier got rid of all the silver coins he had stuffed in his pockets and knapsack to get gold in their place. Yes, sir, he crammed all his pockets, his knapsack, his cap, and his boots so full that he scarcely could walk. Now he was made of money. Putting the dog back on the chest, he banged out the door and called up through the hollow tree, "Pull me up now, you old witch." "Have you got the tinder box?" asked the witch. "Confound the tinder box," the shoulder Lo siento. "Confound the tinder box," the soldier shouted. "I clean forgot it." When he fetched it, the witch hauled him up. Then he stood on the high road again, and with his pockets, boots, knapsack, and cap full of gold. "What do you want with the tinder box?" he asked the old witch. "None of your business," she told him. "You've had your money, so hand over my tinder box." "Nonsense," said the soldier. "I'll take out my sword and I'll cut your head off if you don't tell me at once what you want with it." "I won't," the witch screamed at him. So he cut her head off. Oh my goodness. This ain't no Disney business. There she lay. But he tied all his money in her apron, slung it over his shoulder, stuck the tinder box in his pocket, and struck out for town. Yo, this dude, I don't like it. It was a splendid town. He took the best rooms at the best inn and ordered all the good things he liked to eat, for he was a rich man now because he had so much money. The servant who cleaned his boots may have thought them remarkably well worn for a man of such means, but that was before he went shopping. Next morning, he bought boots worthy of him and the best clothes. Now that he had turned out to be such a fashionable gentleman, people told him all about the splendors of their town, all about their king, and what a pretty princess he had for a daughter. "Where can I see her?" the soldier inquired. "You can't see her at all," everyone said. "She lives in a great copper castle inside all sorts of walls and towers. Only the king can come in or go out of it, for it's been foretold that the princess will marry a common soldier. The king would much rather she didn't." "I'd like to see her just the same," the soldier thought, but there was no way to manage it. Now he lived a merry life. He went to the theater, drove about in the king's garden, and gave away money to poor people. Okay, at least he did that. At least he gave away money to poor people. This was to his credit, for he remembered from the old days what it feels like to go without a penny in your pocket. Now that he was wealthy and well-dressed, he had all too many who called him their friend and a genuine gentleman. That pleased him. about that. The rest of the world isn't ready to go to sleep yet. Garbage trucks, everything just happened. Let's get back to the story. I'm just looking for the microphone, guys, sorry. Test. Hopefully this is working. We'll find out in post. But he spent money every day without making any and wound up with only 2 coppers to his name. He had to quit his fine quarters to live in a garret, clean his own boots, and mend them himself with a darning needle. None of his friends came to see him because there were too many stairs to climb. Poor him. Stairs are good. One evening, when he sat in the dark without even enough money to buy a candle, he suddenly remembered there was a candle end in the tinder box that he had picked up when the winch sent him down the hollow tree. He got out the tinder box, and the moment he struck sparks from the flint of it, his door burst open, and there stood a dog from down under the tree. It was the one with eyes as big as saucers. "What," said the dog, "is my lord's command?" "What's this?" said the soldier. "Here I got the sort of tinder box that will get me whatever I want. Go get me some money," he ordered the dog. Zip, the dog was gone. Zip, he was back again with a bag full of copper in his mouth. Now the soldier knew what a remarkable tinder box he had. Strike it once, and there was the dog from the chest of copper coins. Strike it twice, and here came the dog who had the silver. 3 times brought the dog who guarded gold. Back went the soldier to his comfortable quarters. Out strode the soldier in fashionable clothes. Immediately, his friends knew him again because they liked him so much. Interesting types of friends he's got. Then the thought occurred to him, isn't it odd that no one ever gets to see the princess? They say she's very pretty, but what's the good of it as long as she stays locked up in that large copper castle with so many towers? Why can't I see her? Where's my tinder box? He struck a light, and zip came the dog with eyes as big as saucers. "It certainly is late," said the soldier, "practically midnight, but I do want a glimpse of the princess, if only for a moment." Out the door went the dog, and before the soldier could believe it, here came the dog with the princess on his back. She was sound asleep and so pretty that everyone could see she was a princess. The soldier couldn't keep from kissing her because he was every inch a soldier. Then the dog took the princess home. Consent, I wonder. And next morning, when the king and queen were drinking their tea, the princess told them about the strange dreams she'd had, all about a dog and a soldier. She'd ridden on the dog's back, and the soldier had kissed her. Now that was a fine story, said the queen. The next night, one of the old ladies of the court was under orders to sit by the princess's bed and see whether this was a dream or something else altogether. The soldier was longing to see the pretty princess again, so the dog came by night to take her up and away as fast as he could run. I'm going to try that one again. The soldier was longing to see the pretty princess again, so the dog came by night to take her up and away as fast as he could run. But the old lady pulled on her storm boots and ran right after them. When she saw them disappear into a large house, she thought, now I know where it is. and drew a big cross on the door with a piece of chalk. Then she went home to bed, and before long the dog brought the princess home too. But when the dog saw that cross marked on the soldier's front door, he got himself a piece of chalk and cross-marked every door in the town. This was a clever thing to do because now the old lady couldn't tell the right door from all the wrong doors he had marked. Early in the morning, along came the king and the queen, the old lady and all the officers to see where the princess had been. "Here it is," said the king when he saw the first cross mark. "No, my dear, there it is," said the queen, who was looking next door. "Here's the one, there's one, and yonder's another one," said they all. Wherever they looked, they saw chalk marks, so they gave up searching. The queen, though, was an uncommonly clever woman who could do more than ride in a coach. She took her big gold scissors, cut out a piece of silk, and made a neat little bag. She filled it with fine buckwheat flour and tied it onto the princess's back. Then she pricked a little hole in it so that the flour would sift out along the way wherever the princess might go. Again the dog came in the night, took the princess on his back, and ran with her to the soldier, who loved her so much that he would have been glad to be a prince just so he could make her his wife. That's a little dated, I think. The dog didn't notice how the flour made a trail from the castle right up to the soldier's window, where he ran up the wall with the princess. So in the morning, it was all too plain to the king and queen just where their daughter had been. They took the soldier and they put him in prison. There he sat. It was dark and it was dismal, and they told him, "Tomorrow is the day for you to hang." That didn't cheer him up any, and as for his tinderbox, he'd left it behind at the inn. In the morning, he could see through his narrow little window how the people all hurried out of town to see him hang. He heard the drums beat and he saw the soldiers march. In the crowd of running people, he saw a shoemaker's boy in a leather apron and slippers. The boy galloped so fast that off flew one slipper, which hit the wall right where the soldier pressed his face to the iron bars. "Hey there, you shoemaker's boy. There's no hurry," the soldier shouted. "Nothing can happen till I get there, but if you run to where I live and bring me my tinderbox, I'll give you 4 coppers. Put your best foot foremost." The shoemaker's boy could use 4 coppers, so he rushed the tinderbox to the soldier, and well, now we shall hear what happens. Outside the town, a high gallows had been built. Around it stood many soldiers and many 100,000 people. The king and queen sat on a splendid throne opposite the judge and the whole council. The soldier already stood upon the ladder, but just as they were about to put the rope around his neck, he said the custom was to grant a poor criminal one last small favor. He wanted to smoke a pipe of tobacco, the last he'd be smoking in the world, or in this world. I mean, smoke them if you got them. The king couldn't refuse him, so the soldier struck fire from his tinderbox, once, twice, and a third time. Zip! There stood all the dogs, one with eyes as big as saucers, one with eyes as big as mill wheels, one with eyes as big as the round tower of Copenhagen. The size of that dog, seriously. "Help me, save me from hanging," said the soldier. Those dogs took the judges and all the council, some by the leg and some by the nose, and tossed them so high that they came down broken to bits. Again, not the Disney versions. "Don't," cried the king. But the biggest dog took him and the queen too and tossed them up after the others. Then the soldiers trembled, and the people shouted, "Soldier, be our king and marry the pretty princess." So they put the soldier in the king's carriage. All three of his dogs danced in front of it and shouted, "Hurrah!" The boys whistled through their fingers, and the soldiers saluted. The princess came out of the copper castle to be queen, and that suited her exactly. The wedding lasted all of a week, and the three dogs sat at the table with their eyes opened wider than ever before. What's the moral of that story? Comment down below and share. But hopefully you're already asleep. This is Miss Ashling signing off. Have a great night.